Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with another very interesting and rather important topic. And today's topic is about Badhak. Badhak in Sanskrit would mean, if you translate it, obstruction. So today we'll be talking about what are the planets that cause obstruction in our lives, and what are the rashis or zodiac signs which cause obstruction in our life. And Maharishi Parashara, the great sage Parashara, has given clear-cut rules on Badhak, the concept of Badhak rather. And what we'll be talking about today is not just the planet which has become a Badhak or an obstructor. We'll be talking about the Badhak sthana as well, meaning what zodiac sign is actually considered to be the Badhak sthana or the obstructing house. And it's just not obstacles and obstructions. A Badhak planet and a Badhak sthana or a Badhak place is considered to be giving all kinds of malefic effects. Could be diseases, could be all kinds of problems. So it's just not obstacles or obstructions. It's about all kinds of problems. So that's very clearly explained by the sage Parashara, and we'll be discussing about that today. So as we know, in Vedic astrology there are 12 zodiac signs, Aries through Pisces, and the zodiac signs are classified into three categories. I may have discussed that in my previous videos, but I'll go over it again. The three categories are the movable signs, the fixed signs, and the dual signs. So, why are they called movable? Because the characteristics are movable. They're kind of fluid people. So people with those ascendants generally are not very fixed. They're kind of fluid, movable, and those zodiac signs are classified as Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So once again, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are considered to be movable signs. They're always moving, not stationary, as far as the characteristics are concerned, or people with the influence of the zodiac sign of these Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn are concerned. Their characteristics always fluid, moving. The other category is the fixed signs, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So these are considered to be the fixed sign. People's characteristics, those people are pretty firm, fixed in the behavior characteristics. And the third category is dual natured, people who are like dual natured. And the zodiac signs which come under this category are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So these are the dual natured sign. And if you notice these categories, within the categories, there are four signs away from each other. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, category 1, which is movable. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, category 2, which is fixed. And Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces is dual natured sign, zodiac sign. People influenced by these zodiac signs, and these would come under dual natured. And as you notice, there are four signs from each other under their respective categories. So now we have determined the classification of the zodiac sign, and as per sage Parashara, he says that in case of a movable sign, which we just discussed, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, the Lord of the 11th house is considered to be a Badhak, and the 11th house is considered to be a Badhak Sthana. Okay, Sthana means place. So that zodiac sign, say for example, we consider Aries under this category of a fixed sign, not a fixed sign, I'm sorry, movable sign. Aries is a movable sign. So if we consider Aries, then the 11th house from Aries, and if Aries is the ascendant, the 11th house from Aries becomes the Badhak Sthana, and the Lord of the 11th house becomes a Badhaka planet. So I hope I've made myself very clear here. In case of a fixed sign, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpion, Aquarius, and if we consider Taurus, for example, or all these ascendants for that matter, the Lord of the 9th house would be considered a Badhak, and the 9th house would be Badhak Sthana. So earlier we saw the category of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, which is a movable sign, and we discussed Aries to give you an example. And in Aries, the 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius, becomes the Badhak Sthana, and Saturn, which is the ruler of that zodiac sign, becomes the Badhaka, and that'll apply to all four in that category: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Similarly, in case of a fixed sign, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, the Lord of the 9th house is considered to be the Badhak, and the Badhak Sthana is the 9th house from the ascendant. And I'll give you an example of that. If we consider Taurus, the 9th house from Taurus is ruled by the planet Saturn, and Saturn becomes the Badhaka planet, and the 9th house becomes the Badhak Sthana. Now let's go to the third category, which is a dual natured sign, which comes under Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. In all these four ascendants, the Lord of the 7th house would be the Badhak planet, and the 7th house from it would be the Badhak Sthana, or the place, or that zodiac sign. So for Gemini, the 7th from Gemini is Sagittarius. Just to give you an example of Gemini, it applies to all four: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So the 7th from Gemini is Sagittarius. That sign of Sagittarius becomes a Badhak Sthana, and the planet ruling that sign, which is Jupiter, is a Badhaka planet for that particular birth chart. So I hope I've made myself clear based on Parashara principles. And like I said, a Badhaka planet creates obstacles or problems during its dasha and antardasha. Specifically, that has been mentioned by the great sage Parashara. And then, we can discuss about which dasha, chara dasha, or Vimshotri dasha. I'm not going to get into that. Just remember that in its dasha and antardasha, it creates all kinds of problems, and diseases is one of the major thing which it gives. Now, the second thing is, we have to see where the Badhak planets are placed. So if we've determined the Badhak Sthana, we have to see where the Badhak planet, which is ruling that sthana or that zodiac sign, is placed, and it is going to destroy or create disturbances in the house where it is placed. That is number one. The second thing is, in case a planet, any planet is situated in that Badhak sthana, which we have determined based on the principles we just discussed, that planet is also going to be problematic for that person, especially in its dasha and antardasha. So we have to remember that as well. So first we have to see the Badhak sthana, then we have to see what is the Badhaka planet, see where the Badhaka planet is placed. It's going to create a problem in that house. Also see what planets are placed in the Badhak sthana, and then you can come to a determination as to whenever there is a dasha or antardasha or period or sub-period of either a Badhaka planet or planets sitting in the Badhaka house, especially in their dashas, there will be all kinds of obstructions, problems. And like I said, one of the major manifestation is related to health and diseases. So that is what has been described by the great sage Parashara as far as the rules of determining the Badhak sthana and the Badhakesh, which is the Badhak planet, which is the ruler of the Badhak sthana, is concerned. And then of course what planets are placed in the Badhak sthana. Now I'm gonna very briefly discuss about what would be the Badhak sthana and what would be the Badhakesh or the Badhak planets of different zodiac signs. So let's start with Aries. For Aries, the 11th house is the Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet is Saturn. For the zodiac sign Taurus, the 9th house is a Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet is again Saturn. For the zodiac sign of Gemini, the 7th house is the Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet is Jupiter. For the zodiac sign of Cancer, and we're considering ascendants here, remember, for the zodiac sign of Cancer, the 11th house from the ascendant, which is Cancer, becomes the Badhak sthana, and the planet Venus is the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet. For the zodiac sign of Leo, the 9th house becomes the Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet becomes Mars. For the ascendant of zodiac sign of Virgo, the 7th house from it becomes the Badhak sthana, and the planet Jupiter becomes the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet. For the ascendant of Libra, the 11th house is the Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet is Sun, because 11th house of course is ruled by Leo, and that's how we are discussing everything here. For the planet for the zodiac sign Scorpio, the 9th house becomes the Badhak sthana, and the ruler of the 9th house, which is Cancer, becomes the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet. For the zodiac sign of Sagittarius as an ascendant, the 7th house from it becomes the Badhak sthana, and the ruler of the 7th house from Sagittarius, which we know as Gemini, becomes the Badhakesh or the Badhak planet, which is the planet Mercury. For the ascendant zodiac sign of Capricorn, the 11th from it becomes the Badhak sthana, and the Badhakesh is the planet Mars, or the Badak planet Mars. For the zodiac sign of Aquarius, ascendant, the ninth from it becomes the Badhak sthana, and the lord of the ninth house, which is Libra, which is the planet Venus, becomes the Badhak planet, and of course the ninth house becomes the Badhak sthana, which is the zodiac sign of Libra. For the zodiac sign of Pisces ascendant, the seventh from it becomes the Badhak sthana, which is the zodiac sign of Virgo, and the Badak sthana lord, which is the planet Mercury, becomes the Badhak planet, or the Badhakesh as it is called in Sanskrit. So I've gone through all these 12 zodiac signs and which houses are Badhak sthana and what are the Badhak planets based on the rulership of those Badhak sthanas. I hope I've made myself very clear here. Now, of course, there are certain contradictions in Vedic astrology, which also I'm going to discuss here very briefly, that how can Saturn become a Badhak planet, or the Badhakesh, or an obstructing planet for Taurus ascendant? Because for Taurus ascendant, Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet, or an auspicious planet as per the principles given by Sage Parashara. So there's a slight contradiction here because of its rulership of a trine and a Kendra house. For Taurus ascendant, it is a great Yoga Karaka. Yet Saturn, although it's a Yoga Karaka, becomes a Badhaka planet. So there's a contradiction here. So we have to, and we can have another discussion or another video on that, but I just wanted to briefly bring it to your attention. Also, 11th house is the house of gains. How can it become a Badhak sthana? That's another question that can come up. 7th house is a house of marriage. How can that become a Badhak sthana, or an obstruction creating, or how can the lord of the 7th house, which represents one's spouse, be negative for you or create obstacles? How can the lord of the 9th, which is the house of fortune, how can that house become an obstructing house? And how can the lord of the 9th house, which is the lord of the house of fortune, become an obstructing planet or a Badhak planet for you? So these are all contradictions, and we can go on for hours and hours, and I don't want to get into that discussion right now. I just wanted to give you the basics of what Badhakesh is, what a Badhak sthan is, or the zodiac sign, which is Badak as per given by Sage Parashara. And like I said, earlier in my videos as well, that astrology is an ocean, and we can keep researching and researching, and there will be contradictions. All kind of contradictions will come. Similarly, for the zodiac sign Leo, or the ascendant Leo, the 9th house becomes the Badhak sthana, and the ruler of the 9th house is Mars. How can it become a Badhakesh? Because for Leo ascendant, Mars is also a Yoga Karaka. Similarly, for Scorpio ascendant, how can the 9th lord, which is the planet Moon, ruled by the zodiac sign of Cancer, for Scorpio ascendants, become a Badhak planet, or the Badhakesh, an obstruction creating planet? Because it is the 9th lord. Here for Sagittarius ascendant, how can Mercury, which is the 7th lord, actually for Sagittarius ascendant, I correct myself, Mercury can become a Badhak planet, because it's also suffering. The zodiac sign is also the planet Mercury is also suffering from Kendradipati dosh. People who have not watched my video on Kendradipati dosh can go and watch it. For Sagittarius ascendant, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Mercury is a Badhak planet, and also it has Kendradipati dosh. For the zodiac sign of Aquarius, how can the planet Venus, who is a yoga karaka for Aquarius ascendants, become a Badhak planet? So that's a contradiction here again. And for the zodiac sign of Pisces, again, Mercury is a Badak planet and also it's suffering from Kendra Adhipati dosh. So yes, it makes a lot of sense here. This is not a contradiction. And I may have did I discuss about Gemini ascendant earlier, where Jupiter becomes which is the lord of the seventh, becomes a Badak planet. That also makes sense because Jupiter is also suffering from Kendradipati dosh as far as Gemini ascendant is concerned. So that makes a lot of sense. But for cases like Taurus ascendant, Leo ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, and Aquarius ascendant, it does not make a lot of sense because the Badhak planet itself is considered to be a very, very auspicious planet as per the rules given by Sage Parashar. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, we can have a more detailed discussion of what clarifications the great Sage Parashar has given about Badhak planets as far as these contradictions are concerned. But in the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.